and Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card for only $24.99 a month. You'll enjoy an upgraded experience with tons of perks.
Like access to more than 2,000 locations worldwide?
Yep.
And massage chairs?
Yes.
Can I bring a friend every time?
Sure.
Can my friend be a horse?
Nay. Sorry. Get the PF Black Card and feel fit-tacular. Only $24.99 a month. Our most popular membership, the PF Black Card, is your ticket to getting all the perks. Join today. See Club for details.
Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into Ticket Weeknights. I'm Harrison Arens. Going to be going solo all the way up until 8 o'clock, but that will not wrap up Ticket Weeknights. We will have the Doan Athlete Project. That will go from 8 to 9 p.m., and then, of course, we'll have some replays set up for you guys to wrap up the night. So plenty ahead here yet on Ticket Weeknights. But if you guys want to join me on the show, we'll talk some Husker football. We'll talk some NBA and some league pass teams in the NBA in particular that if you haven't been watching, you need to check them out. In particular, one team has been breaking the offensive metrics in the NBA as of now. But if you guys want to join the show, 402-464-5685 is the Starter Heyman text line. I'll read them as they come in. If they're legible, if I can read them, and if it's nothing too crazy, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo, Channel 951. You can watch, comment there as well. Great way to put a face to the voice and join the show that way. But again, I'm open to talking Husker football, in NBA and anywhere else we may go. We can also try to fix the WNBA problem as we talked about on We Talk Facts. How do we get a more consistent demographic for the WNBA? Because year in, year out, they just haven't been making the money. The biggest supporters, as Cluster have said, have been men. which is kind of unique. You would think it'd be the girls, but it's just a huge demographic problem that they can't quite capture that audience to allow consistent viewership to help the girls get paid. But as of right now, there's just not enough attention around it. And that's a problem in itself. But let's start with the NBA here, and in particular, the midseason tournament. The midseason tournament, to me, we talked about it a little bit on last show, and you guys can let me know what you think. I thought it was going to be a complete failure, honestly. Hearing some of the players talk about the midseason tournament, not even understanding the rules, post-game press conferences after those games, it didn't seem like it was going to work out. You had players initially were against it. During it, players didn't understand the rules. And there's still some that need to get tweaked, right? As some of our texters said earlier, that point differential can make it awkward at times. At one point in time, the Pacers would get blown out by near, I think it was 40-point deficit to the Dallas Mavericks because of that point differential. So even when you're up, you're not necessarily playing to slow the clock down. You're playing to keep putting points on the other team to ensure that differential. But I'm slowly becoming a fan. The intensity of these games is undeniably higher. These players are actually taking this a lot more seriously than I thought, especially a team like we're going to dive into later, the Pacers, a younger team. You got to think, those guys' contracts, they're not making LeBron James money. They're not making max contract money. They're not even making good second-year deal salaries yet. They're a bunch of young players. So when they get a check for $100,000, that's pretty nice. When there's the potential of $500,000 in this midseason tournament, if they win it all, or even if they get second place, they get about $250,000. That's a pretty good deal for a lot of those young players. And you're seeing that with the Pacers. I would tell anyone right now for the Pacers' next midseason tournament game, definitely tune in and just watch that Pacers bench and the excitement that those guys have with every single play, knowing that the money's on the line. Last time the Pacers played for that midseason tournament, there wasn't a single Pacer towards the end of the game that wasn't on their feet. It was electric. They were excited. The other team was doing everything in their power to shut them down. And it's just had a lot of intensity. I would complain about the courts. Not a big fan on the court design. Hopefully they change that. It's a little unique. It's just a little too strong on the eyes. Reminds me of Boise's blue field. Not a big fan of it, but it has been surprising well when you have guys like Kevin Durant, who just lost part of the Phoenix Suns to the Lakers in their last midseason tournament game, sign off on it, who initially was very open about it being a bad idea, that it was adding unnecessary, stress to these players who are just trying to get to the end of the season. But in reality, you're not adding any more games. If you play in the championship game, you will play 83 regular seasons compared to 82 regular season games. So the way they organize it makes sense. You're not adding on to what has already been discussed ad nauseum. Should they shorten the NBA schedule, which I don't think they should in the first place. But you're seeing these players all kind of turn around and warm up to the idea of this midseason tournament. And you have a team like the Lakers who don't need the money. This isn't the biggest thing for them. Obviously, you got guys like LeBron James. They're taking it seriously. They're playing really good basketball. They're showing up with a lot of intensity. Same thing with Milwaukee Bucks, right? Another team that they don't really need this midseason tournament. Their end goal is to win the NBA Finals. They're good enough. That's what they want. But they're still in this midseason tournament. They're playing well, and they're playing to win. So with that being said, it's been a pleasant surprise. I've enjoyed the midseason tournament. There's been a lot of high-intensity games. And again, I have to suggest watching the Indiana Pacers, not only for midseason tournament play, but let's just dive into it. Tyrese Halliburton for the Indiana Pacers, after he got traded from the Sacramento Kings, he was pretty disgruntled about the whole scenario, gets sent to the Indiana Pacers. They end up getting rid of Sabonis in the trade, who's actually playing well for the Kings, but they're playing some interesting basketball. They're leading the NBA in offensive points and doing it by a pretty decent margin as well, averaging about 130 points per game, which is insane. Your leading scorer being Tyrese Halliburton at nearly 27 points per game. Also, your assist leader at about 12 assists per game. So you got your star player averaging a double-double and a solid double-double at that. Not just, 10 points, 10 assists. No, 27 points, 12 assists. And it's about 34 minutes per play. He's just been killing it. And their offense is so unique. They take a lot of quick shots. You're going to see, they'll shoot it 5 seconds into the shot clock. If it's open, they're going to take that three-point shot every single time. And the Pacers, they lead the league, or at least in that top 3 on 3-point percentage. That's a team that you kind of like the Warriors. You have to chase them around everywhere on the perimeter, and they're going to keep taking shots. And then on the defensive end, they're doing everything in their power to let players attack the rim, and they're trusting Miles Turner and their other rim protectors to slide over on help defense, contest at the rim, because that's the thing. When you have those shots at the rim and you can get a quick rebound with, say Miles Turner gets a good contest, or even better, a block, turns into a quick transition bucket. And that's what the Pacers have essentially, feels like, I won't say mastered, because defensively, it definitely shows that style of defense they want to play. They're really struggling on being above average on that end of the court. But as a result, it's allowing their offense to hit number 1 in the NBA heights. Now, it's been ebb and flow, but consistently they've been in that top 5 group offensively, scoring. If you watch that Indiana Pacers Hawks games that didn't go into overtime, both of those teams scored over 150 points. And that's not just the NBA as a whole. That's just the Indiana Pacers and the style that they like to play. They're okay giving you straight drives to the rim, having Miles Turner slide over and contest those shots. They're going to try to contest, grab the rebound, go the other way. Same thing. They'll take a shot 5 seconds into the shot clock if it's open. It's been awesome to watch. And the Pacers are a league pass team, in my opinion. They've been a lot of fun to watch. And obviously, we talked about the 3-point shooting. Tyrese Halliburton is a great 3-point shooter. And then you can't forget about Buddy Hield. Obi Toppin was a good grab. Bruce Brown, another really good grab. And they still got a bunch of guys. TJ McConnell, another great 3-point shooter. And just pretty much across the board, you have a bunch of guys that you have to respect on that 3-point line. And the Pacers, in my opinion, have been the biggest surprise in the NBA this year. I think a lot of people knew Tyrese Halliburton was good. A lot of people expected growth to continue with him, but not to this level. And for their coaching staff to understand their strengths at such a level where they're willing to sacrifice defense for more offense, it's incredible to watch. And if you haven't watched the Pacers game yet, which is understandable, right? It's not necessarily a team you're going to see on national TV night in, night out. You'll be surprised by the offensive prowess they've been showing night in, night out, because it's been consistent at that as well. And I can't say enough about Miles Turner and how he's playing. He's averaging 2 blocks a game, right? I said it before. They're cool with letting the opposing team try to get most of their points in the paint. That's what they're willing to sacrifice. Miles Turner is going to get a lot of blocks for it, but he's also going to get beat, but they'll make up for it on the offensive end of that court. So I do expect some tweaks on defense, but as of right now, they're giving you the paint and they're taking away the 3-point line. It's really as simple as that. And then on offense, they're taking quick shots, and they just have enough great 3-point shooters to be able to run that type of offense. So League Pass team, if you haven't checked them out, you definitely need to do so because they've probably been one of the funnest teams to watch this year. And they got a chance, as we're talking about it, in that midseason tournament to make a name for themselves, right? You can win that midseason tournament. It's kind of an early test to see where your team's actually at in the mix of things. And the Pacers right now, I think they got a good shot of possibly upsetting some teams in here as they got to play just a couple more games here. But keep an eye out for the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton has just been killing it. Points, assists, double-double threat night in, night out. It's been awesome to watch. Some other teams that have been interesting to know, obviously the Phoenix Suns. I was a little down on the Phoenix Suns. I wasn't sure how well that connection was going to work, right? You have a guy in Bradley Beal, you have a guy in Devin Booker, and another guy in Kevin Durant. Those are 3 elite scorers. Some you're going to grade higher than the others, but for the most part, 3 guys that need the rock for their offensive prowess. And it's been fun to watch. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant have a serious connection out there, and it's showing night in, night out. I was a little worried about them on defense, but they've been more than able to hold their head above water. Kevin Durant, just his length, even he might not be the quickest guy out there, his length is just a massive problem in itself, what he can do to deter opponents. Devin Booker, still one of their weaker defenders, but he looks like he's been able to pick it up on that end, just having some more help offensively. And then, of course, you're thinking, what is it going to look like losing some of your key guys? And Chris Paul can't really tell that much. If anything, you're waiting for Chris Paul on that Warriors team to really come out of his shell, because the Warriors, on a different note, adding Chris Paul, you thought they'd be able to help it. They haven't been able to get that picture to click. The Warriors week in, week out. If you look at the power rankings, they're not doing too well. They're in about the bottom teens, bottom half of the league, as they're trying to continue to figure this thing out. Obviously, that group is getting older, but you can't quite count them out. Like Steph Curry is a guy that until we get towards the end of the season, I'm never comfortable counting that Warriors team out. They went on that massive run. They go from being in the finals year in, year out to missing the playoffs to getting back in the playoffs and winning the NBA finals on top of it. So that's a team that I'm not going to quite panic on. If you're a Warriors fan, give it some time. I think Chris Paul unlocking his game, whether that's on the bench or whether you try to start him with that unit, that's the key to it all, because that was your biggest acquisition and you haven't been able to figure it out yet. And obviously, that's just an older unit as well. Maybe some teams have kind of caught up to that offensive system, a little more comfortable slowing it down. And of course, the age is getting to some of those guys. They're not as quick off the dribble as they used to be. But with that being said, that's kind of some of those early teams in the NBA. Obviously, you still have the Nuggets. And with Jamal Murray being out, Nikola Jokic once again is proving how much of a threat he is. Right now, he's averaging about 12.9 rebounds per game. He just won the Player of the Month for that Western Conference, averaging, damn near 30 points per game through last month. He's just been a problem. And they're going to continue to lean on him until Jamal Murray gets back. But if you're a Nuggets fan, I'll say this again. I still think the Denver Nuggets should be the favorite in the NBA Finals. The way they can play with Jokic, the fact that no one can stop him. Think about this. Jamal Murray goes out. You're leaning on Nikola Jokic. The opposing team knows you have to lean on Nikola Jokic, and it hasn't affected him one bit. He is still on an absolute tear. It doesn't matter like who's out there with him. He's just a problem, period. Averaging 28.6 points, 12 rebounds, rounded up to 13, 12.9, about 10 assists, 9.8 on a 54% field goal percentage. It's just insane what he can do. So night in, night out, he's essentially a triple-double threat, and a high triple-double threat at that, right? Where we said it. He's nearly scoring 30 points a game on top of that. His three-point percentage has been great as well. You look at right now his stats just for this season, he's about on average about 55%. Three-point percentage, a little lower than his career, about 30% right now. Free throw percentage, 80%. And again, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 1.2 steals, and only about 3 turnovers per game. And for how much he touches the ball, the 3 turnovers per game can be a little excusable there as they run literally the entire offense through them. Unfortunately, they have taken a couple losses there to the Kings and to the Clippers in their last 2 games. But nonetheless, he would still have big games there, right? In those 2 losses versus the Kings, he still had 13 boards, 14 assists, and still 36 points. Inexcusable how you lose that one. The other team's got to help him out a little bit. And lost to the Clippers, he still had 22 points, 10 assists, 15 rebounds. So on his 2 back-to-back losses, he still had a triple-double. And as long as Jamal Murray can get back out there and be healthy, the Denver Nuggets, in my opinion, are still by far and away the favorites. And it's early season. You don't want to panic, even if they drop a few games here, where they're at in the standings. That's a team where, if I'm the rest of the league, you still have to figure out how to stop Nikola Jokic. Because when it gets to playoff time, we've seen what he can do. Versus the Lakers, I know the Lakers lost in that series 3-1. Or excuse me, 4-1. But every single game, it came down pretty close to the wire. And what got them over the top was Nikola Jokic hitting ridiculous shot after ridiculous shot after ridiculous shot. You can think about all the one-leg setbacks he's had night in, night out. And he's the player where you just have to watch him. If you disagree with anything I've said about Nikola Jokic, you haven't watched a Nuggets game from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Because he has about 5 plays a game. I'm not even kidding you. It's about 5 plays a game where you're thinking, how in the hell did he pull that off? Whether it's the quick sleight of hand touch, flipping it up to himself. And by the way, you wouldn't think of it, but Nikola Jokic, some of the quickest hands in the league, leads the league in deflections right now as well, with about 3.5 deflections per game. So this is a guy in Jokic that he's not this athletic guy. You're not thinking of him as this physical beast like you would at Joel Embiid, but here he is leading the league in deflections, dominating on offense and defense. I think a lot of people, continue to suspect him to be a little bit, I don't want to say a below average defender, but don't credit him as good as he is down there. And why is this? The sleight of hand stuff matters. His hand-eye coordination, which is kind of a weirder thing to grade in basketball, but when you're watching Nikola Jokic, you kind of get what he's able to do out there. And again, that leads to the deflections. Defense, he's always got his hands in everyone's pocket. He's always in the lanes. Just all around an amazing player. And until someone can actually get a blueprint on how to stop the juggernaut of Nikola Jokic right now, I think they're the favorite to win it. You get Jamal Murray back, and that's a team that we've seen what they can do. And of course, having Aaron Gordon down there, he's just the perfect pairing with Nikola Jokic. The biggest loss being Bruce Brown, I think, but they've still been impressive nonetheless. We'll throw it to break here. And again, if you guys want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. I'm Harrison Arns going solo all the way up until 8 o'clock, and we'll have the Doan Athlete Project after that one. So don't go anywhere here on Ticket Weeknights. I'll talk to you guys on the other side.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card for only $24.99 a month. You'll enjoy an upgraded experience with tons of perks.
Like access to more than 2,000 locations worldwide?
Yep.
And massage chairs?
Yes.
Can I bring a friend every time?
Sure.
Can my friend be a horse?
Nay. Sorry. Get the PF Black Card and feel fit-tacular. Only $24.99 a month. Our most popular membership, the PF Black Card, is your ticket to getting all the perks. Join today. See Club for details.
Don't miss the most innovative ag technology that exists today on display in Lincoln at the Nebraska Ag Expo, the second largest indoor ag show in the U.S., December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Check out all the latest technology in row crop and livestock production, robotics, and more at the expanded Innovation Hub. Mark your calendar. That's December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Register online at NebraskaAgExpo.com to get your tickets in advance and save $5. See you in Lincoln. The Nebraska Ag Expo is sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, They deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apple, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine. It'll be a warm day as well. We'll see a high of around 63. Tonight, increasing cloud cover taking place with a low near 38. And tomorrow, partly sunny skies becoming mainly cloudy skies in the afternoon. We'll see a high of around 55. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. I'm Harrison Arens on the ones and twos, going solo all the way up until 8 o'clock. But don't go anywhere because we have the Doan Athlete Project up next. We'll have Brandon and Killian, both from the Doan basketball team, speak on a little bit of their season and what they're up to and what that Doan life looks like. Always a great show. And again, that is a newer show we have with the Doan Athletes. Typically takes place on Wednesdays from 10 to 11 p.m., but a little schedule change with Nebraska postgame last night versus Minnesota. Had to make some changes there. But on that topic, we have to talk about it. It was disappointing, but Nebraska basketball falls to the Minnesota Gophers on the road. And really at the end there, it didn't feel like it was close. Fred Hoiberg, this is year 5. We have to start winning games. You have had 5 years to kind of build this roster up, get the guys that you want. And this is a year where it looks like you actually have a lot of depth available to you to go ahead and make this run. And they did what they needed to, right? You start the season off 7-0. Okay, here comes your first big pressure game versus one of the better Big East teams, a consistently solid Big East team in Creighton. They got the Big East Defense Player of the Year in Kalkbrenner. They got Baylor Shireman. Trey Alexander can be a threat as well at driving to the rim. High pressure situation, but you're at home. You're at the vault. You have a chance to really make some noise for the University of Nebraska basketball team, and you fall in that one. And again, wasn't really close. That's fine. Creighton is a good Big East basketball team. You didn't shoot great. Creighton shot fantastic. Some of that's poor defense and not closing out, poor rotations. We're closing out too hard where you're getting beat off the dribble, especially if you're closing out on a guy like Trey Alexander. Give him the 3-point shot first and the paint second. Too many times they let him close out too hard. He's not their 3-point shot threat, right? He might take it. You okay with that? You don't want to give him the rim. And that's what happened over and over again. You close out too hard. He attacks the rim. Guess what? That is an easy flip and lob to Kalkbrenner or an easy kick out to Baylor Shireman. And the list goes on. They got enough 3-point shooters on that team to cause some damage. If you're closing out sloppy and you're allowing them to beat you on the dribble, your 5 slides over and rotates. They kick out for a wide open 3. Or if your 5 doesn't slide over fast enough, quick, lob it up, Kalkbrenner, 2 points, dunk. It was a problem. But you're okay with that, right? You shot the ball very poorly, and they were making everything from 3-point land. When a team is shooting that hot from the 3-point land, I'll give them a little bit of way out here. That does become incredibly tough to guard a team like that because that's how you end up closing out too hard on guys like Trey Alexander because the way they're shooting the ball is just becoming utterly impossible to stop. But you're almost okay. You weren't okay with the loss, but you can understand. Minnesota is a team who was at the bottom of the conference last year. So were you, but we at least made a run to be a higher seed when we got to the Big Ten tournament over Minnesota. You play Minnesota in the Big Ten bracket last year, and you lose, in my opinion, in embarrassing fashion to a team that you should have never lost to. Creek was the best player on that team, and that was really bad. That was the guy you needed to stop, and they couldn't do it. You have an opportunity to get this team going again after a tough loss to Creighton to beat Minnesota on the road to open up Big Ten conference play. We can't afford to keep dropping these games if we want this team to really start taking off. It looked like it was going to be a Bryce Williams game who came off strong. Second half starts getting frustrated. They take away the cuts to the rim completely. If you watch that Nebraska offense in the second half, it looked like a completely different team out there, at least on the offensive side of the ball. You can say the same thing about defense, but honestly, I think for Minnesota, it was more physicality, not so much the offense that was winning the game for. Yeah, they were making some shots there, but they're tough shots. I'm okay with the defense on there, but I'm not okay with getting out physicaled on the boards when you're not willing to put a body on a guy, especially when you have a 15-point lead out of the break and you want to stop boxing out. You look at the rebounds. I know the rebounds are tied, but that's, if you watch the game, it wasn't tied at all. There were so many opportunities for Nebraska to get a defensive rebound, but instead, Minnesota players would get their hands on it, and shout out to their bigs. They did what they needed to in the second half. They get their hands on it. It gets tossed around, and we're both in a mix. It goes off the hands of a Nebraska player, goes off the hands of a Nebraska player, Minnesota ball. Doesn't count as a rebound, but essentially you got out hustled off the rebound, and it fell out of bounds through whatever you want to call it, a little skirmish, trying to get possession of the ball, and unfortunately it rolls off the hands. And it's just an opportunity that, yeah, the rebounds will say you it's tied. If you watch the game, it wasn't close to me, especially in that second half. You have to find ways to this. If you were to watch that Minnesota game, it looked like the Big Ten West of basketball. The second half, it wasn't pretty basketball. It was turnovers from Minnesota, who have had that problem all year long. They've had that problem last year as well. That's a team that's going to turn the ball over a lot. Great. Nebraska, turn the ball over a lot too. So you don't even get that edge on them with the turnover battle because you guys are turning it over at such an insane rate at the end of that game that it truly did look like, frankly, it looked like what we saw with Nebraska football this year. Turnover after turnover in that second half. And I don't think Minnesota's that great of a team. I thought that they wanted it more in the second half. The passion and the fire that those guys had in the second half, we didn't match it. And I can answer that confidently because I saw it with not boxing out. I saw it with poor communication on defense. I saw it with Bryce Williams grabbing legs, getting a technical. That's stuff you can't do. If you want to be a legit team, you're not winning by grabbing legs and trying to slow guys down through cheap play like that. I like Bryce Williams. I think he's going to bounce back. He's a hell of a player. He can be a 3-level scorer. I'm not worried about him in the future, but those are frustrating things to watch. 402-464-5685. Give me your thoughts on Nebraska basketball. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but I just totally thought that's a game you have an opportunity to win. When was the last time Nebraska basketball opened up Big Ten conference play with a win? I'll let you think on it. It's been a while. We can't afford to keep coming out of these. You have a good test. You lost that game, fairness out. You played poor basketball. Or I shouldn't say poor basketball. You had a poor shooting night. But offensively, it didn't look like it was a stagnant offense. The ball was still moving around, but you just couldn't get anything to go through. Minnesota was a stagnant offense in that second half. Give credit to Minnesota. They realized what we're doing in the first half. We're killing them in all the backdoor cuts, handoffs, and just slipping screens over and over again. Second half, they completely took that away. They gave us the 3-point shot. They weren't going to allow anyone to cut back door on them. And they said Casey Tominaga is not getting the basketball. And it worked. Casey Tominaga didn't really get his shots going, free throws. That was basically it for Casey Tominaga. That's your Big Ten candidate early before the season even started. We have to get Casey Tominaga going. We got to be a little more creative, find some screens, some sets, and just let him be a bigger impact on the offense. I'd be a big fan of seeing if you can get him going early. I understand that's going to be the first things teams try to take away, but that's everywhere. You have to find a way to unlock Casey Tominaga early. That's going to allow guys like Bryce Williams. That's going to allow guys like Rink Mast, who is an undersized center, and that's going to be a potential problem too. We saw it with Kalkbrenner. We saw it against Minnesota. The rebounding battle is starting to shift the other way as we go up against these bigger centers in the Big Ten. It's not just a Rink Mast problem. That's a team problem where you got to help your guy out, because it wasn't just Rink Mast getting out rebounded last night. It was multiple guys not boxing out. And at times, if Rink Mast did box out, it'd be a 1v2 down there because someone else forgot to look behind them, grab their jersey, and put a body on them. Those to me are the inexcusables of basketball. And I'm not down on this team. I still think this team has a chance to possibly go to the tournament. But that is an ugly way to start. You know, we have all this depth too that they're trying to sort out. We're still waiting on Ramel Lloyd Jr., seeing if he can get in the mix of what does he bring to the table. But to me, it's Casey Tominaga. You know, that's a guy who was massive to get him to come back to play for Nebraska. Over in Japan, he is a legend already. The fans he has, they're crazy about him. And we just haven't been able to unlock him the way we have last year. He's not as aggressive. He's passing an awful lot more, which, you know, maybe that's part of the offense. But if I'm Fred Hoiberg, I'm really focusing in on Casey Tominaga and trying to get him going early. If you can get him going early, that's what made that Nebraska team last year so scary down the stretch, because you had to completely sell out versus Casey Tominaga. And Minnesota did that in the second half, even though he wasn't having a big night, just because, frankly, no one else could get the ball to go through the hoop. Where this Nebraska team finishes, to me, kind of dropped a lot with that loss to Minnesota. If they can pick it up and continue to improve through some more conference play, that'll be fantastic. But I was definitely worried about them not being able to match the physicality in Big Ten basketball. Even against Creighton, I know it's a little bit different, but that's a team you got to be physical with. They want to be a 3-point shot, flashy team, run up and down the court, lean into that defensive identity you had last season when you ended the year. That's how we won a lot of our games. That defense was impressive with a bunch of bench players. And you give them credit for it. These past 2 games, where has the defense been? Minnesota offensively is not a great team. I don't think they're going to finish very high at all in the Big Ten. And somehow you let that team bully you inside through some poor rotations. How many easy lobs did we see last night on a simple high pick and roll at the top of the key where the big would roll, they'd kick it to the corner, they'd fall, close out on the 3-point shooter, easy lob to the rim. Like, those to me are just, where was the defense that we saw last year? that defense we saw last year would have locked that up. It wasn't like Minnesota was having an incredibly efficient night. They were spotty just like us. They were turning the ball over just like us. If you want to be a tournament team, you can't keep playing down to the level of your opponents. I think this team's better than Minnesota, but they have to start proving it to me. Otherwise, I will look at this Minnesota game as, you know what, I wasn't as good, or we weren't as good as I thought we were. I don't want it to be that way. I'm rooting for Fred Hoiberg and this Nebraska basketball team. I like a lot of the players, but the inconsistency was a little bit concerning there. And they dominated early in the stretch against teams they needed to. But again, I'm looking for that defense. You look at when we played Ryder, we held them to nearly 7-8 minute scoring drought. We haven't had that in the past 2 games at all. You know, whether we go on a massive run there to end the half, you come out, and at one point it was a 23-5 run for Minnesota. Now that's a lot of things. A, you're not hitting your shots, which can happen at times, but B, you're not playing great defense either. Because if it's a 23-5 run, you're not doing anything to slow that team down. You're not able to get transition buckets. It's showing you're not getting steals. It's showing you're not getting to the free throw line. It's showing you're having little to no effect on either end of the court. And that was a horrendous way to start the second half. I would love to know what Minnesota was told in the second half, because you have to give them some credit. They looked like a completely different team. But as soon as the crowd got into it, it felt like Nebraska had lost the game. And it was unfortunate. I want this team to continue to pick it up. I have hope for them that they will figure these things out. And I'm not doubting Keisei Tamanaga. He will have that eruption game where he does pop off for a high 20-point game, 30-point game, maybe even more than that if we're lucky. But it was an ugly loss, and we had to talk about it. But I'm not going to give up on this team. Minnesota was a tough loss, but nonetheless, you see that with Creighton, right? Did Creighton make the tournament last year? Yeah. They lost to a Nebraska basketball team that no one thought had the chance to beat Creighton. And they did it on the road, and they beat them in an ugly fashion. So there's going to be ugly losses in basketball. You see it in the NBA. You see it in college. You see it in high school. You see it in your Pee Wee basketball games, right? There's a perfect storm night for everything. I'm really hoping that last night's loss to Minnesota was kind of a perfect storm game where Nebraska didn't have it, and Minnesota found a way to turn on late. But to me, the defense, that's where it's inexcusable. That's something you can control, and that's something all the best teams, if you look at the NBA Finals year in, year out, those 4 teams that are in the NBA Finals, they're typically at least bare minimum top 10 defensively. That defense is so crucial for any level of basketball. It's not the funnest thing to do in the world, but it's consistent. You can rely on your defense night in, night out. You don't have to worry about that going, like a shooter. You can lose your touch, in a quarter. You can lose your touch after one shot. And it's not permanent, but it takes a while to find that rhythm back. Defense, you can always control night in, night out. And that's what's been disappointing for me in that Minnesota loss. That's a team that I think you can hold under 70 points. With the amount of turnovers they give you, if you just control the ball, you take good shot selections, you rotate properly, and you help your guy rink masked out on the block. Juwan Gary, Bryce Williams, rink masked, those are not the biggest dudes, but they're long and athletic. You might not put Rink Mass in that athletic group, but he's a smart, high IQ player nonetheless, that he knows how to rotate. I expect more out of the defense. I think that's going to be the key until you can find a way to really unlock Keisei Tamanaga, who in my opinion is still our best offensive weapon, who we have got to figure out a way to get him the ball more so he can have more shots, have more opportunities, and just be an overall threat out there. How much easier would this offense be if we just had one game this season where we can unlock Tamanaga? It hasn't happened yet, and teams have been able to kind of lock down Nebraska's offense at times. Again, I've talked about that Ryder game. It was awesome to have that 7 to 8 minute scoring drought we put on those guys, but it was essential because Nebraska wasn't scoring offensively either. This offense, for as much depth as it's had, it has been a little inconsistent here in these past few games. Could just be a little bit of slump. It happens to just about every college basketball team except for the elite of the elite. And I'm going to hope for that because I think the defense can be fixed. At the bare minimum, you can always fix the defense, and you just got to find a way to unlock your key player in Keisei Tamanaga. But that's kind of my quick thoughts on Nebraska basketball's loss to Minnesota. 2-game losing skid here. They got more conference play up ahead here. Plenty of season left to make a name for yourself, to get back to your defensive identity. And again, just get Keisei Tamanaga unlocked. He's such a huge factor to this team. He will open up everything for you offensively. It helped Rink Mast out a ton, allow him to be the playmaker he is, allow him to play with a high IQ. Because I'll tell you what, if you give Rink Mast some proper spacing out there, he's a smart, high IQ player. I know it's been struggling a little bit on defense with these bigger fives, but he can make up for it offensively through his own scoring and through his playmaking. So again, just get one of these guys to get in a rhythm. It's awesome to have a different leading scorer night in, night out. And it's also a little scary not knowing who that guy's going to be. And against Minnesota, it turned out to be nobody. So there's problems with that, right? Sometimes you do need a guy that when the game gets tight, we can look at this guy and say, he can get us out of this hole. He might not take every shot, but he's going to put pressure on the defense. He's going to have enough playmaking ability to share the ball if needed. But we need a guy to be able to point to, and it should be Keisei Tamanaga, but it just hasn't quite been that way yet. Quick thoughts on Nebraska basketball, losing to Minnesota last night on the road. Not down on this team. I still have hope for them to figure it out. I mean, hell, last year, did anybody expect Nebraska basketball to make any sort of run with the injuries they faced? You definitely didn't. So you have to give credit to Hoiberg for that last season, but you want to see it again. You know, you shouldn't be satisfied with a loss to Creighton, and you definitely should be satisfied with a loss to Minnesota. So let's hope that they continue to fix it, improve that roster, and again, find a way to unlock their best player in Keisei Tamanaga. That's going to be it for this segment, though. We have one more on the other side, and then we'll have the Doan Athlete Project after. So don't go anywhere. I'm Harrison Arens going solo. Talk to you guys in a little bit.
When you think of places with tons of great beer selections and amazing food menu in Omaha, the conversation should start and end with Bearschen Beer Garden in Benson. With more than 30 beers on tap, including several German options, you're sure to find something you like. And don't forget their Nashville hot chicken sandwich or any of their delicious hamburgers. Start off with the warm house-made pretzels and you're on to a great day at Bearschen Beer Garden in the heart of Benson in Omaha.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doan had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doan. For me, the Doan experience has been life-changing.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine. It'll be a warm day as well. We'll see a high of around 63. Tonight, increasing cloud cover taking place with a low near 38. And tomorrow, partly sunny skies becoming mainly cloudy skies in the afternoon. We'll see a high of around 55. The meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. I'm Harrison Arens on the board, and we got Chris Ramsey in here with me as well, one of the new producers right here at 93.7 The Ticket at 1040 O Street. And if you haven't been down here yet, definitely check it out with all the Christmas decorations in here. It's definitely a cozy vibe. Get yourself a cup of coffee, hang out, see some of the on-air talent, and maybe get some autographs while you're at it. But nonetheless, a little bit of time here if you guys want to join the show. Start our Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. And again, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 951. Quick correction, the Doan Athlete Project, they will actually be going from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that 8 o'clock hour will be another replay, but nonetheless, we will still have the Doan Athlete Project. But in the Christmas spirit, I do have Chris Ramsey in here, and we're just going to go with this one. And again, you guys can join in. Chris, what is your favorite Christmas memory?
Man, look, let's get right into it. My favorite Christmas memory was back when I lived in Korea, man. So my mom was in the army.
You lived in Korea?
Yes.
That is new to me.
Yeah, two years. So military brat experience. It was a vibe, most definitely. All right, cool.
Yeah, you're good.
Adjust. It's not adjust. All right, we're cool. But yeah, so me and my sister, we were like, yo, we're just gonna stay up all night. Mom's gonna be in from work late, and we're gonna see if we could catch Santa. So we literally just binged the night, and we were kids, so everything was fun for us. It was snowing a lot. We had a huge hill in order to get to our apartment. So we decided to go out, do some snowballs with the neighbor. And then funniest thing happened, man. I slipped, had a zebra cake, slipped, just start sliding down the hill. And this hill was giant. We were out in Seoul, Korea, giant hill, and just sliding. And eventually I stopped. But that's one of my favorite memories just because of the atmosphere of Korea, the food, and then just spending time with my sister and my mom's when she got back from work. What about you, though? What's your favorite Christmas memory?
Yeah, same thing. I think every kid does it once, right? Let me try to catch Santa real quick. Sitting at the top of the stairs, doing everything in my power. And I remember just sitting there, hearing the door open, and I was so close to falling asleep. And I was there. I thought I was in the winning stretch there of catching Santa Claus. And, sure enough, some family members pulled me aside because they didn't want to scare Santa away.
You didn't.
But I thought I outsmarted the whole family.
So wait, so how did they know that you were
I think they always must have known that I was sitting at the top of the stairs waiting, because my mom snatched me immediately as soon as I started hearing some doors open. She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, let me come and grab this kid."
Yeah. Hey, no, that's good though, because like I feel like as a kid, we need those childhood moments. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it makes us who we are when we get older. You know, have that time.
100%. Did your family ever do like leave the cookies out and milk?
Yeah, cookies and milk for a little bit. Yeah, we even did something. I don't even know. We learned it in elementary school. We like had like man, like confetti and oats or something. Threw it out for reindeer.
Okay.
I don't even know. It was. I think it's
They
something
really
we
get
learned
the
in
carrots out, try to feed the reindeer
Yeah,
on
it's
top
like,
of it.
it's like we just throw it outside and like, oh, I wonder if it's going to be gone in the morning. Yeah, it's weird stuff. It's
Yeah,
cool.
we never did that. So sorry to Santa. We never fed him, but he still brought us gifts. But
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
my parents. It was always interesting. But yeah, it's definitely that time of year. And again, I can't stress it enough. Check out 1040 O Street here at the Ticket. It's definitely kind of that Christmas vibe in here. We got the Christmas tree up, all the decorations, and there's no better place to be when it's freezing outside. Even though it's been a nice kind of few weeks. I mean, what was the high today? I was walking out.
It's like 60.
Yeah, 60
It's
degrees.
beautiful, man.
So we will get to that cold weather here, and the Ticket is a perfect place to go ahead and warm up. But that's going to be it for the solo segment here with Harrison Arens and Chris Ramsey joining me on the last segment. But don't go anywhere. We'll set up a replay and have the Doan Athlete Project after that right here on Ticket Weeknights.